Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be showing off some brand new tips on how you can improve the planning for your Super Minion attack with the army that I've been using over the past few weeks, but also some small things you can do to make your attacks 100 times stronger. Now today, using these tips, I went plus 296 and I'm currently sitting at the top 500 of Legend League, so they definitely work. Now, those few fails that I had are from some really dumb mistakes that I make, but that's always going to happen day to day, so you really have to just do a lot more practice and really master this army. So anyways, let me hop right into the tips for this video and show you guys the attacks. So before I even get into the first attack, I want to talk about what you want to do during the 30-second planning phase that you're given every single time. So these 30 seconds are going to be the most important part of your attack. What you want to do during this time is first, look for giant arrow and backpack value. This is often going to be in the middle of the base, like on this one, where I could target the clan castle cake, the clan castle, or the revenge tower. All three of these would be pretty easy options if I could just go from the top to the bottom or bottom to top. I could also go left to right and get down that clan castle cake. Those would all be really easy options to go for. Now, what you could also do after this is look for that fireball value. This is going to be really quick. It's often going to be maybe a rage compartment, a area where you can send your warden in. He can take out some garbage buildings, and then you can get maybe a 1 or 2 invis fireball off. Like in this case, where I can get a 2 invis fireball off and target the air defense. This would get both the revenge tower and monolith down. And then at this point, I would have a pretty good funnel, either on the left side or the right side, depending on where I use my flame flinger for my hero dive to go into the base. Now, once you look for that fireball, you can send your warden in. Now, a lot of the time, you're going to still have time left within that 30-second planning phase for you to look for flame flinger value. And a lot of the time, you just want to look for 2 defenses. That's going to be what your flame flinger has time to get down most of the time. So looking for more defenses than 2 is going to probably not be worth it, since your flame flinger is going to either not have enough time to get through them, or he's going to die before that even happens, like he does in this case, where I don't even realize an archer gets targeted onto him, and he's only able to take down these 2 that I sent him onto. Now, the main goal for the flame flinger is to get down some buildings to set a funnel. It's not just to get down buildings to get value. That's a mistake a lot of you guys are probably making. You're looking for fireball value instead of funneling value, and you're looking for flame flinger value instead of flame flinger funneling value. And you might not be using the flame flinger in every single one of your attacks, but today I used it in all but one, and that's just because you're not needing all that value to get down. You're only needing 2 buildings, and oftentimes it's going to be tier 2 defenses. Now, tier 2 defenses are the giant cannons, the fire spitters, scatter shots, inferno towers. All of those are pretty good defenses to get down. Super wizard towers as well, really good. Those are tier 2 defenses. Those are going to be what you're targeting. Now, if you get down maybe 1 tier 2 defense plus 2 garbage buildings like a bomb tower and builder hut, that's also some pretty good value. And that's going to be the main goal. So now you can see on this attack, I set a really great funnel. That fireball on the left side and that flame flinger on the bottom side both squeeze my main hero dive in towards the middle of the base, and that allows me to drop my king in a little later, and then he's able to move right in towards the center, and then his stick horse equipment is able to get really good value since it moves him right into the center. And here I activate the spiky ball. It didn't go towards that rage compartment like I would have liked. However, it does get some really great value since he is able to move all the way towards the core. And this attack really shows how you want to utilize the fireball on combination with the flame flinger. It's really about squeezing your heroes in towards the core of the base. That's the main thing I want to get across with this attack. You're not just, using it like you would have with a furnace army, where your main goal is to get value with the fireball. Your main goal is to get value with that giant, with the Duke and giant arrow, since that's going to be the hardest part of the attack to get down. Now, even if you miss your Duke with giant arrow, it's still possible to 3-star, and oftentimes you only really need, to get that damage in towards the core of the base, because then the builder huts are going to be locked up, and you're able to move through that section really quickly once you actually do get to it. So that's going to be the first attack. Let me move on to the second one now. So in this attack, I'm going to be showing off an approach that's a little different. I'm still going to be using the Warden and his Fireball and the Walk to set a funnel, but I'm going to be doing it on the same side of the base as I'm using the Flame Flinger on. Now, this is still going to be just as effective as squeezing the Hero Walk in between those two, but instead, I'm just going to have to walk my Warden for a little bit longer to secure a really tight funnel, since, just fireballing one side of the base isn't going to do that. So here I go for a really quick fireball, get down the clan castle with the monolith, so really, really great value, and altogether, I mean, it's not much of a funnel. You see that if I set my hero dive in right now, it wouldn't be doing too much. So instead, once I take out that Expo with my Warden Walk, I go ahead, drop the Flame Flinger in, and you can see that I can get 1, 2, and then potentially 3 tier 2 defenses down, and also I can get that Builder Hut down. And then also some really great value is I get the Queen down, since the splash damage from the poison on the Flame Flinger is going to end up getting her down. Now here, once I get my value that I wanted to get down with the Warden Walk, I can go ahead, pick him back up, and send him back up to that top side, and I don't really have to worry about him for the rest of the attack since, that Queen's going to be going down, and then he's not going to be taking damage from multiple defenses at once. So in this base, I really chose to do this approach since there's nothing in the core of the base, meaning if I did the same squeeze approach with the Flame Flinger and Warden Walk, there wouldn't be anything to squeeze into. Once this Revenge Tower in the core is gone, with the Dragon Duke and Giant Arrow, there's nothing to squeeze into. So having to make sure that, the entire side of the base is gone is going to be much easier to funnel in my heroes, because there's a better chance than not that if I went with the squeeze approach, my heroes would have ended up splitting up because there wasn't, anything for them to go to. So on this base, this was definitely the better option than the traditional squeeze that you might have done. But it's important to remember that I'm still using my Warden to funnel in the base. Even though I only used him on one side in combination with the Flame Flinger, the main goal of this was still to funnel my heroes into the base, as you see with the Queen. I still got her in towards the core, and she was able to stay alive and dealing a bunch of damage towards those defenses. And I also used my King a little later. I made sure to wait for the funnel to be fully set with no garbage buildings on the right-hand side. And then once that happened, I sent my King in so he could still move in towards the core of the base. However, it wasn't the complete core, it was just the inside of the base. So altogether, this is still following the same formula, but it's not just, a one-to-one formula. You need to adjust it a little bit, but it's just the idea of using your Warden Walk to funnel in combination with the Flame Flinger, just so you could make your hero dive work throughout the entire attack, and that's going to lead you to a 3-star. So let me move on to the next tip now. So on this attack, it's all around a horrible attack. I mess up my Earthquakes, I let my Flame Flinger die really early on, and, all around, the planning for this attack did not go any way that I would have liked it to. Now on this base, the squeeze approach is not going to be as easy. My initial plan was to squeeze my main army in towards this right side, I guess, with the Fireball onto the Super Wizard Tower, get down to 0, Invis Fireball, and just, all around, great value. Get the Clan Castle, Monolith, entire Rage Core, and Revenge Tower. All around insane Fireball value. Over on this left side, you can see I get my Flame Flinger in range of that multi-archer tower, which means he's only able to get down the regular archer tower and air defense. So, all around, he basically gets nothing. The only thing he gets is a sort of funnel that I could have used later on in the attack, but I ended up not being able to since I had to change up my approach because I thought this was going to end up being a fail. Now, since I had to use an extra Earthquake to get that Clan Castle down, I only have one left. So at this point, I was planning on getting that Rage Tower down, just so I could activate it a little earlier and I wouldn't have to deal with it as I moved in towards that compartment. However, I do with my giant arrow. Again, a huge, huge mistake that probably should have made this fail, because at this point, that's 3 things that I've messed up. So here, I send my king in, and I just hope to secure this 2-star, because, I was still thinking this is probably going to be a fail, so let me secure as much percentage and as that last star that I can, because, might as well. But here, I made sure to keep my queen alive. The ice golem luckily freezes up the logger, and I send in a headhunter, make sure I get that enemy king down so he doesn't kill my queen. And at this point, I had the recall left, so I made sure to take my warden, move him back down to that bottom side, and that top side should get taken down once I revive the Dragon Duke. So at this point, it was cutting it close on time. It was around 50 seconds left that I had, and I knew that that Dragon Duke had to take out the entire top compartment. If he didn't, it would surely be a fail. I made sure to be preemptive, like I was talking about in my last video, preemptive with that spell, made sure to keep my warden alive, and here you could see it looks like a 3-star, because it is. This somehow recovered from everything that I've messed up throughout the attack, and the horrible plan that I had, just because I was able to cut off a funnel with that flame flinger. I was able to cut it off just on that right side a tiny bit. That tiny bit was able to make it so my king could easily move in towards the core of the rage compartment and town hall compartment, and then take out the logger and really crush this base. So all around a horrible attack, but you could see that funneling, even though it was so minor, made such a big difference in the end of the attack. So let me take you on to the next one now. All right, so this attack is one where you're going to see sort of that formula come into play, where you're using the Flame Flinger and Fireball in combination with the Warden Walk to funnel your hero dive in towards the core of the base. Now, this is going to be the approach that you're going to see on most bases you face. If you are struggling to try and, on the spot, figure out what kind of attack you want to do, I would recommend just, go for a very simple Flame Flinger. So maybe target just one tier 2 defense. Maybe even just, go for a few tier 1 defenses, even though that's not preferred. If you're really having trouble figuring out what kind of approach you want to do, just go for that. It's going to make it so you don't have to worry about a difficult planning phase, and you just have to worry about getting that giant arrow backpack combination down. Now, as you can see, I have a really easy one in the core of this base. I can either choose to target the Clan Castle Cake, the Clan Castle, or the Revenge Shower. I could target any 2 of these at once, but I can't target all 3. So in this attack, I choose to go for the Revenge Shower and Clan Castle, even though I target, or I drag out the Clan Castle troops, so I have to waste my poison spell there. But I try and just make sure I get down the rest of that Clan Castle in case there's anything else in it. So, really easy. The giant arrow gets everything down that I wanted to, so perfect. And as you can see, really great funnel and great squeeze in towards the core of this base. Once the main hero dive clears that out, I can send my king in, and he's going to be able to target right into the center. I send my warden right back over on the right-hand side, just to make sure that he's able to get over this town hall, since, most of the time, that's going to be what he wants to solo. If you put him by himself onto a town hall compartment like this, where there's no other heroes, it's not a heavy hero compartment, it's going to be a very, very easy time for your warden. Now, I let him take a lot of damage from the logs, and his healers do die, so it's not ideal. But other than that, I mean, he's having a really easy time. He doesn't take any damage for the rest of this attack until the very end, so nothing I really had to worry about on his end. But as you can see, I mean, this was exactly what you want to do. I used my warden on the right-hand side, used the Flame Flinger on the bottom, got a really easy value with it. Nothing needed to be invested to make sure it got any value. And then all around, King was able to move into towards the center of the space. That's exactly where you want him to go. Once he gets in towards the center, that's when you use the spiky ball, and he gets guaranteed value. In the core of the base, you're like, there's no chance that there's enough garbage buildings where the spiky ball will bounce 8 times and then end up only hitting garbage buildings. So once you get the king in towards the center of the base with the stick horse, pop it spiky ball, and you get amazing value. So that's exactly why you want to use the funneling abilities from the Flame Flinger and the Warden Walk to get your heroes in towards the middle of the base. So let me hop onto the next attack and show you some more tips. All right, so even though I said that you want to use the Flame Flinger on like every single base, this is the only base style that I would say is the exception to that. There's a lot of variations of this, but if you see a double rage box style base, it's like a 90% chance that there's going to be no Flame Flinger value, and it's not worth it trying to force it. So I would definitely recommend using the log launcher on this style of base. So in this one, all I do is I target that top rage core and get down the entire thing. You could also go for this bottom one. However, I just prefer to go for the top since there are, it's a really easy anchor on that elixir storage. And also, I don't want to risk dragging out any clan castle troops, and also don't want to risk getting targeted by the logger, because both of those could probably sell the attack if I'm having to do multiple multitasking things while doing the fireball at the same time. That could just get confusing and probably make me mess up somewhere. So, finish that funnel with my Warden. Again, that's the main goal. On a style of base like this, where you're not using the Flame Flinger, you really have to make sure you get that funnel down. Now, I messed it up a little bit here. I was planning on letting him walk, but I sent in that Super Minion a little too early, and he ends up dragging him to the outside, meaning I would have had to invest a few more spells to keep him alive as he's targeted by the multi-gear tower and Expo. So I just prefer, pick him back up, send him to the outside. It's all fine. It's a good enough funnel since, I don't have to worry about my king moving in towards the core of the base because there's nothing there. All right, so I took out that clan castle with my Dragon Duke ability. Great value. That's another, I guess, tier 1 defense that you would want to target with it. So all around, exactly what you would want to do. Now, I waited to send my king in because I had to make sure that he'd move in towards the core of the base, because I wanted him to really get in towards the center of this rage compartment. And that's exactly what he does. As soon as he gets in towards it, I can activate that spiky ball, and then he takes out everything on the inside. Now you can see also why the log launcher was the better choice here. Once it gets towards the core, it breaks open, and that Super Valk comes in. It jumps right in towards the center of the rage core, and then dies, meaning I have a rage spell right where my king was. And that Super Yeti, it drops right into towards the center, meaning it can, once it takes damage, do all the zappy damage towards the center defenses, and it just crushes this base. I basically swagged that revive, and I had a few other spells that I probably could have swagged, but all around, this is the one base style that I would probably say always use a log launcher on. But you're still going to make sure you get that funnel with the Warden instead. Before I wrap up this video, I just want to talk about everything that I've covered in this video. So all the tips. So the first one is to use the Warden in combination with the Flame Flinger to set a funnel for your hero dive. Now, your Fireball should be a really simple one. It's just going to be onto probably a tier 1 defense, so the Clan Castle or Revenge Tower, Monolith, or any crafted defense that there might be. Then with your Flame Flinger, the main targets are going to be any tier 2 defense, and it's probably going to be probably 2. Anything more than that is not going to be able to have enough time for him to take down, and it might not just be worth it to invest all those rocket loons in to get it down. So tier 2 defense is going to be a multi-archer tower, any infernos, any scatter shots, fire spitters, ricochet cannons, or super wizard towers. Any of those are really great value to get down. Now on the other side, where you send in your hero dive, you're going to make sure the funnel is complete. You can do this by using a few extra super minions, and you could also make sure that your queen goes in towards the base with the druid and ice golem by using those wall breakers. Make sure those wall breakers work, because oftentimes they probably will end up dying, but if you can get them to work, your queen's going to be able to move in and get some really great value. So once that funnel is complete and the entire left and right side are finished off, send your king in. He's going to move in towards the core of the base with that stick horse, and then you could use the spiky ball. The spiky ball is going to probably target a lot of those core defenses, meaning you're going to get down some really great damage and probably take out a lot of the center damage in the base that's going to target your heroes. Now on that back end, you can use whatever support troops you have left, probably a few super minions to help take out those enemy heroes, because those often are going to be the ones that are going to be left for the very, very last to be taken out. Then once you do that, use the revive spell on your Dragon Duke, because at this point he's probably gone down, your queen's probably gone down, your king's probably gone down, you're probably starting to fizzle out, and so just make sure you get that Dragon Duke revive if you have a revive spell left. And at this point, it's a free 40 trophies to take home, and I mean, that's going to be it. You've got a free 3-star. So anyways, let me hop into the end of the video, and hope you guys enjoyed these tips. Alright guys, that's going to be it for this video. And of course, I will be reading the comments, so if there's any suggestions you have on changes I should make to the army, or just requests you have for what you want to learn for the next video, I will be taking a look at that. And please, let me know, because I want to help you guys out, and being able to give the best guides as possible is what I'm trying to do with these videos. So anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video.